What's up everyone, it's Tony here and welcome back to the Yacht Addiction YouTube channel. The super yacht in front of us is a 171-foot Amels, which was first delivered in 2004. Its latest refit was in 2021, and this yacht is presented for sale by Merrillwood and Associates. So, Amels, they're a well-known Dutch super yacht builder, and in the Netherlands they're known for their high-quality pedigree yachts. This one has a steel hull and an aluminum superstructure. It sleeps up to 12 guests in 5 different staterooms, and it can house up to 14 crew members. Naturally, it's 171 feet or 52 meters in length. It has a beam of 29 feet and 6 inches and a draft of up to 10 feet. So we're going to try to give you a little profile shot, but I'm also going to throw a picture on the screen so you can see this yacht's full profile. And we're going to make our way on board via the side boarding gate. So let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, so we're gonna make our way on board via the side access door right here. You can see there is a passerelle that can be extended out from this section. We have a double door here for the foyer, but I think we're gonna go all the way to the aft deck first. And I did want to mention, we actually have to film this in 2 parts. Unfortunately, the weather here at Palm Beach is not cooperating with us today. So currently, everything on the exterior of the yacht is covered. We're gonna come back a second time later on, and we're gonna film all of these exterior areas. So don't worry guys, you're gonna get a sense of what this is like when everything's uncovered. And obviously on the sun deck, things like that. Don't worry, we're gonna fully cover everything. And then you have the stairs going up to the bridge deck. We have a bar area over here. And then double doors leading into the main salon. These are powered. As you can see, this is a beautifully set up main salon. You have the seating on both sides, and then you also have the TV all the way forward. And then you probably noticed that staircase right back here, and this actually leads down to the guest cabins. So we're gonna go check those out in a little bit, but first I think we're gonna continue exploring this main deck. Continuing forward, this is the formal dining area. They have a beautiful display set up for the Palm Beach International Boat Show. And then check this out guys, you saw the TV on this side, but on the back side, you still have some storage / a decorative feature with all of the wine bottles. Wasn't expecting that. That's a nice little touch. And then you also probably noticed all of the beautiful woodwork in the different areas of this main salon. This yacht was built to an extremely high quality with the materials and the craftsmanship, both when it was first launched back in 2004, as well as during the refits over the years. All right, let's move forward. As you would expect, you do have the owner's suite on the main deck. You can see some extremely thick doors. And I love how the stone transitions in the hallway. This staircase will lead up to the bridge deck. And then here is that side access door we saw from the side deck. So this will act as the main foyer for the yacht. And then located just off of this area, this is the day head. On a 171-foot pedigree yacht like this, you're gonna expect a beautiful owner suite. And you get exactly that, and this is also a massive area. Takes up the full beam of the yacht, of course. You have your office space right here. You also have your seating area. And this is specific, of course, to the owner suite. And the nice thing is, so obviously the bed is right behind me. You'll see that in a second. You do have the pocket doors. So if you want to enclose this space off, you can do so, or you can keep it all the way open. And then here, of course, you have your king bed. The built-in dresser on the far side. And as this yacht is privately owned, we're not going to open everything up from a closet perspective, but the ensuite is located forward. And once again, this is a massive space. You'll see right in the middle of the room, you have the walk-in shower. You have the large vanities on either side. Toilet and bidet tucked away right here. And then you do have two different dressing tables, one on this side and one on the other side. And we have this one lifted up so you can actually see. Whenever I say a dressing table, what I mean by that, typically you'll have the mirror with the built-in lights and the little bits of storage as well. And you do get a pretty great view out of this window as well. And another toilet and bidet. So completely mirrored from the perspective of having sets of two. Obviously the shower is big enough, you can fit multiple people in here. Simply stunning. And I'm sure you assumed in these doors you have a lot of closet space. But beyond just all of these doors that you see, there's also a massive walk-in closet, probably the biggest I've ever seen on a yacht. Honestly, that ensuite might be the biggest I've ever seen as well. We head back in this direction, and here you can see this huge walk-in closet. And this will stretch the entire length of the beam. So I'm going to turn around and you can get a sense of how deep this space is. This is incredible. All right, unfortunately we do have to keep moving, but this is such an incredible owner suite, probably one of the nicest I've ever stepped foot in. Now we're going to backtrack a little bit because, like I said in the intro, back here, this is where we find all the guest cabins. And we do have 4 cabins located down on this level. This yacht has 5 staterooms in total, but it can still sleep up to 12, and that's due to the Pullman berths. You have a large landing area. And we'll start with cabins number 4 and 5. These two are mirrored to each other. And guys, these are the quote-unquote the smallest cabins, but I mean, this is ridiculous. First of all, I love the detailing on the door here, and they also named all the different rooms to go along with the theme of each room. As you can see, this is a huge cabin. You have the Pullman right there, and one thing I like is on some yachts, when you have a Pullman, you can see it sticking out from the wall, but on this yacht, they have it integrated into the wall, so when the Pullman is up, it's just like a normal wall. And that's just a little detail I like and I noticed. Obviously, when you have a yacht this big, it's those little things like that that just elevate it just a little bit. And then a really large ensuite as well with your walk-in shower. And I really like the stone as well that's accenting on the wall. Now, just to showcase the capability, on this side, like I said, it's mirrored, but this is what it looks like when the Pullman is down. So you can comfortably sleep 3 in here. And you also probably noticed you have the windows, but you can also completely close them off with the woodwork right here. And then once again, mirrored to the last, good size ensuite. Now heading forward, this is where we have the mirrored VIPs. You can see how thick the doors are, very heavy duty hardware as well. The interior of this yacht, it's very bright, very airy. And I love these details. You saw that in the headboard, but you also have it on the wall here. Beautiful little details all over this yacht. And then here is the ensuite. These are bigger than the last cabins we saw. which you would expect for mirrored VIPs. Looks like we have the jetted tub and a shower combo. You still have the rainfall attachment overhead. Then last but not least, one more cabin to see. This one is called Pacific. And if you're enjoying this Amels 171-foot super yacht tour so far, make sure you leave a like on the video. Comment down below what you think of all the guest cabins and the interior detailing so far. There's still plenty more to see on this yacht. Obviously, we have a lot of real estate to cover. And I didn't mention it before, but the staircase, it's ultra wide. It's backlit. And then we head on up back to the main salon. So before we head up to the bridge deck, we're gonna go down into the galley. We're gonna have to work around the crew a little bit. This yacht does sleep up to 14 crew members. Obviously it's a very big ship, a lot to maintain, lots to take care of. So let's head through this door. And you can see how this sort of shifts to the crew domain. You have the large island in the middle, the huge refrigerators and freezers, and then all of your commercial appliances right over here. And it looks like a combination of Miele and Wolf appliances. And you can also see the dumbwaiter right over here. And then this door will lead down to the crew mess as well as the crew cabins. And they do have a side access door right here, so they can get out to the side deck, move around freely. And we will go back in that section a little bit later on because we do want to see the engines, and you do access the engine rooms from there. Let's head upstairs to the bridge deck, and we will access that through the staircase right here. Once again, the steps are very wide. Some of them are backlit. And right at the landing, you're greeted by the day head for this level. And then through this door, this is how we enter the Sky Lounge. And one thing you'll notice right away, the mood on this level just shifts automatically. The style and the design is radically different than downstairs. Over here, massive TV up on the wall. Then you can see all the different seating areas. And then back here, we have a beautiful bar section. This is an onyx countertop, and this is probably backlit. Normally, these onyx countertops are backlit with the well-equipped bar back here. We're not gonna open everything up, but presumably you have, it looks like a dishwasher over here, the ice maker, refrigerators, everything you need, of course. And then we'll still walk around a little bit, but like I said, we are gonna film all the outdoor areas on another day, probably tomorrow. But you can see your alfresco dining area out here. And then currently, because it's about to start raining, potentially thunderstorms, we have everything covered at the moment. So let's head back inside. And then through this door on the port side, this is where we access the bridge. You can see a side access door over here.
Maybe in that little compartment above?
Apparently it's not.
That little?
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Fred speaking again. I can't reach Gavin, but I was just wanting to double check with you. Like you said that the overhead compartment is locked. And then on where you.
And the captain's cabin is located right here. He has his private office space. There was also a second office in the bridge. And then here is another stew prep space. Plenty of storage, another side access door, more refrigeration. And this is where the dumbwaiter leads up to. All right, back down to the main level. I wanted to give you one more shot of the main salon. And as mentioned, the engine room is actually located in the midship. It's not all the way aft.
Just bringing Tony down to come and film the engine room.
Thank you. So if we take a few steps down, obviously you'll see this is a huge area. So many engineering spaces. And you also probably saw how we walked through the chief engineer's space. Let me tell you a little bit about the specifications. This yacht comes with a pair of Cummins KTA 38 M2 diesel engines. These are 1,200 horsepower each. Your top speed is about 15 knots. You can cruise at 12 and a half. You have a very impressive range on this one. At 10 knots, you're looking at 5,000 nautical miles. So you can truly travel the world on this one. Also, at that 15 knots top speed, you still have a very impressive 3,200 nautical mile range. As you can see, we take a few steps back up. Extremely impressive engineering and systems on board these yachts. When you have the capability to travel the world, it needs to be very well equipped. Then here you can see the chief engineer's office. And then we're not going to go into them, but all of the crew cabins are located down this hallway on either side. Then if we go back up the stairs, we actually took a slightly different path than what I originally intended, but over here, this door leads to the foyer. And then over here, this is the galley that we saw before. So hopefully all of that made sense. In a second, we'll come back out through that door into the main salon. Voila. So hopefully that makes sense so you can wrap your way around. Let me actually show you that other door that I've just pointed out. So the other door that gets you into the crew domain is this one right here. Okay, let's go back to the aft deck where we started, at least for the interior portion where we started. These doors, super smooth, super quick as well. That's a nice touch. All right, everyone, so I hope you enjoyed the interior portion of the tour. Now, we have many more areas to see. Obviously, you have plenty of exterior spaces to enjoy, particularly the sun deck. I can't wait to show that to you guys. We're gonna transition over to the exterior portion of the tour in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, so we magically transported up to the bridge deck aft. You can see this table is set up just like before, but now we have everything uncovered because it's still cloudy, but a much nicer day here at the boat show. You can see the crane right here. Then as you can see, tons of seating for you and all of your guests. And now we're gonna head up to the bow. Then we're also gonna head upstairs to the sun deck. So on the bridge deck, you have full side decks. And we saw the bridge earlier in the tour. This is that side access door. There's a wing station. Then you come around to the Portuguese bridge. And then it's mostly a business end up here. You can see you have the tender stored right up here, as well as a couple jet skis. And then, of course, the crane right in the middle. So as you can see, you have a couple different places to store things. And this yacht has a ton of water toys on board. And as mentioned, the side decks are full on each side. So we can head back in this direction. And then we'll take the staircase up to the sun deck. Let's see what we have going on up here. As you would expect, it's a very expansive sun deck because the yacht is 171 feet. They have some gym equipment set up. You can see the sun pads all the way aft. Then you also have the matching sun pads or the seats that just flank on either side. You can see your mast in the middle. Then we have some freestanding furniture right here. We have the bar area right in the middle, so you have 4 built-in chairs. The bar is right here, of course. And then this is cool, you actually have some storage built right in, so perfect for all of your workout gear. Whether you're working out, doing yoga, whatever type of workout you want to do, you have plenty of space up here. Then there's also a little sink and storage area built in right here. And then this is cool, this area can also be closed off. So you see the glass doors that are folded all the way over, and then you can see the track in the ceiling. So this area can be enclosed in the glass. And then continuing forward, 4 more bar stools, and everyone's favorite, the jacuzzi. Let's take a few steps up, because you get such a fantastic view from up here. Then you also have additional sun pads lining either side of the jacuzzi. Trying to think if there's any details I didn't get in the intro. We started it off the side of the dock, and this is also, as mentioned, filmed in 2 different parts. I think we got everything in my notes. This yacht does have a dive compressor with 5 full dive sets. The tender we saw is 24 feet. And I think I mentioned it, but Amels, well-known pedigree Dutch shipbuilder. The steel hull, aluminum superstructure. She has so much life left. This yacht is going to be cruising for a very long time to come. And looks like we have the pull-up bar installed up here as well. So, very fitness oriented. Now, we're gonna head back downstairs. And we're just retracing our steps here a little bit. I wanna make sure we don't miss anything. And if we come down this staircase, this will lead us to the aft deck. We have the bar area right back here, which I know we saw earlier. And you can also see some of the toys that we have laid out. You can see your swim platform. You can see there's a shower built in on the swim platform as well, and a couple of sea bobs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we've now seen every single area. Thank you, of course, to Merrillwood and Associates for granting us access on board. I know this one was cut together a little roughly. We do what we have to do. Like I said, one of the days at the boat show, it was thunderstorming and raining all day, so just completely ruined our filming schedule. But I always work hard to make it work. I'm glad we were able to get this done. So let me know what part of this Amels super yacht was your favorite. Thanks again for watching, and we will catch you next time.